everybody, and welcome to Vlogmas! So if you are following the NBA, you are in the NBA news realm. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, you know that there's a blockbuster trade that just went down, John Wall and a first-round pick for Russell Westbrook. This came out of nowhere. I mean, it's been rumored for a while, but it still came out of nowhere because we forgot about it, they stopped talking about it, and now it happened. So today, for Vlogmas, we're going to discuss this because we can't not talk about it. Okay, so let's talk about the trade details first. So the Wizards traded John Wall and their 2023 first-round pick, which is protected, to the Rockets for Russell Westbrook. So now I want to talk and give my opinion from the Rockets standpoint, from the Wizards standpoint, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so first let's talk about it from the Rockets standpoint. Now, I personally thought the Rockets were going to make some kind of big move this offseason because they always do. Tillman Fertitta wants to win now, and he's not afraid to make big moves, like I said. So I kind of figured that if they didn't have success in the playoffs the way they wanted to, that they were going to make some kind of move. Now, whether or not the rumors are true, about Russ and Harden not getting along, those are speculations. They may or may not be true. It doesn't matter because I didn't think, like I said previously, that was going to be the factor. I thought that if they didn't have success in the playoffs, something was going to happen. So maybe the speculations of them not getting along maybe added on to it. But personally, like I said, I thought that because they didn't have success in the playoffs the way they wanted, they got bounced in the second round. They didn't even make it to the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. And therefore, I thought that management would be, not satisfied and try to make a big trade. So again, one more time for the people who need to hear it again. I don't know if Russ and Harden were or were not getting along, but they made the trade. So whether or not my reasoning was correct or that was the reason, he still got traded. And to go along with that, I figured that Russ would be the first one to get moved if either of them were going to get traded, just because, Harden's their franchise player. He's been there so long, and, they just want to build around him. So in this case, they traded him to the Wizards, and I'm going to talk about why I think this makes sense and also kind of doesn't make sense. Contradicting myself, I know. So first, I think if they do work it out properly and everyone, fits in seamlessly, it could be, beneficial for them, this trade, because John Wall is a pure point guard. He has a lot of speed. He can, get three-point shooters open shots. He's very good at that. He's a great passer. So that'll be a nice addition to their team and also help them, like I said, kick it out to the three-point shooters. Or, James Harden can play off the ball a little bit, which I'll get into in a second, a little bit about that. But it'll help take Harden off the ball and kind of just make the defense work a little bit more, if that makes sense, because they'll have to, in most scenarios, John Wall will be driving to the basket, which I guess is kind of similar to what Russ did, but whatever. We're not talking about Russ here. But I just feel like John Wall has the ability to drive to the basket, kick it to open shooters, and also be able to get James Harden easier shots instead of him being double teamed all the time. So something I just want to point out that I've noticed with the signings and the trades that they've made, they're kind of gearing away from three-point shots. I mean, they're definitely going to run a system that has a lot of threes, but remember, Mike D'Antoni is no longer there where, he implemented a lot of the three-point shooting. And like I said, besides that, they signed Christian Wood. He's not a three-point shooter. John Wall, like I said, he can shoot if you need him to, but he's not Steph Curry as three-point shooter, So I see that they're adding pieces, not necessarily just to shoot threes, but also to, I don't know, just maybe they're changing up their style. Like I said, with their new coaching, maybe they're just trying to run a new system, seeing if, maybe they did the three-point, spectacle or whatever you want to call it, the three-point system for so long that maybe they're realizing, all right, it's not working for us, let's try something else. Bring in Christian Wood, a nice up-and-coming player. Bring in John Wall, great passer, great IQ. Of course, like I said, with the health concerns, but if he's healthy, someone who could definitely add value to the team. And then, yeah, it could be something that's very special. So yes, talking about playing off the ball, I do think that Harden needs to play off the ball more in order to make this work. John Wall can't really play the two. I mean, I guess you could put him there, but he's not a shooter. He's not a shooter like James Harden. He can make shots. He definitely can. He's not inept, but he's not the shooter that James Harden is, or, some of the other players on the team like Eric Gordon and all that kind of stuff. So the point is he's gonna have to play the one, and he's a great passer. Like I said, he's just made for that position. And so James Harden's gonna have to play off the ball. And the question is whether or not Harden wants to play off the ball. Is he going to be willing to play off the ball? I I think if he wants to win a championship, he will try to, and then we'll see how it fits. Also, let's keep in mind that John Wall lobbing it up to Christian Wood would be super nice. Christian Wood, by the way, I don't know why he's a sleeper on everybody's radar, but he definitely got my attention last year, and I don't understand why more people aren't talking about him, because he was on the rise last year even when Drummond was still there. And then as soon as Drummond got traded, it was just like, hello, Christian Wood. He could honestly be a candidate for Most Improved Player of the Year next year, but I'm not going to predict that yet because I haven't thought too far ahead of that. But keep on the lookout because a video like that will be coming very soon. So the second question I have about this trade is kind of about John Wall's health. Now, he hasn't played in 2 seasons and he tore his Achilles, as we know. And an Achilles tear is one of the hardest injuries to come back from. I mean, sometimes it could be career ending. Usually it, hinders your lateral movement and that kind of stuff. And being that he relies a lot on his speed, and that's one of the things that differentiates him, and one of the things that differentiated him coming into the league and just when he was, before he got injured, it's hard to tell whether or not that will 100% still be there. Now, I've heard that he's ready to go. He's in peak physical form. He looks good. So we'll see when he gets on the court. But that would be my concern as, as a Rockets fan, as a Rockets organization, just making sure that he stays healthy and that his past injuries don't hinder any of his abilities. Like I said, John Wall, I've heard great things, that he's in great physical form. So, I mean, I'm not doubting him. I don't doubt him. He has plenty of talent. He can definitely add a lot of value to the Rockets. And I'm sure if he is as healthy as they say, then he's going to be someone to mess with, and he's definitely going to make the Rockets harder to guard. Again, people forget how good John Wall was because he hasn't played in so long. It's kind of hard to remember just because it's been so long, but people know, like when you watch John Wall tape, he's really good. There's a reason that he was the #1 overall pick. And then thirdly, this is just a little thing for myself, but he's reuniting with Boogie. Yay! And of course, another benefit to the trade was that Houston got a pick. Now it's 2023 and it's a protected pick. So, I mean, it's not like the biggest thing in the world, but any kind of pick is always useful. And you never know if that pick is going to be the next star or if that's going to be the next, little piece that you use in some kind of big trade bait that you do. And here's the other thing. Because Austin Rivers is no longer there, when John Wall is out, Harden can play the point still. So it's not like he'll always have to play off the ball and completely go back to the 2 and not have the responsibility of having the ball in his hands, which I know he likes, or I don't know, but I assume he likes. Who doesn't like to have the ball in their hands? So I think that'll also help ease the transition if they do decide to move Harden to the 2, because it's not like, again, he'll never play the 1 again. He will when John Wall is out. He'll be able to run the offense a lot. And so it's kind of a win-win for everybody, right? So like I said, I know it can be contradicting myself by saying that it could be a good trade, but it also could be not such a good trade. I get it, but this one's really hard to determine the outcome and what I think is actually going to happen because, like I said, we haven't seen John Wall in 2 years. There's a lot of what ifs here. But I do think that there is a lot of potential to be a beneficial trade for the Rockets, and I'm not just going to write it off as just, a bad trade for them. Like, I think worst case scenario, honestly, for both teams, it's just like a wash. But I see a lot of potential for this to go well for the Rockets, especially if everybody is on the same page. And we'll see how it goes. Now from the Wizards standpoint, I think this is very interesting for the Wizards. It's not necessarily something I would have done, but I don't think it's necessarily wrong. Now the reason I say that is because I don't know if Russ fits their playing style, especially because I liked Beal being the main guy and kind of running the offense at times. Like, he's not a pure point guard, I understand that, but we saw a lot of his facilitating abilities and a lot of the stuff that he could do that we didn't know he could do before. He was kind of showing a lot more skills and how much of an all-around player he can be. So this might, take away from that a bit, but it definitely does not mean that Russell Westbrook doesn't add value, because he does. Now here's the thing. I think by adding Russ, they may get the 8 seed. They may sneak in. Now, they could be fighting with the Magic and the Hawks. Don't hold me to those teams yet, because like I said, I'm gonna make those little predictions in another video, so I haven't completely thought those out yet. But I do think that they have a good chance to contend for a playoff spot, and that's an improvement over what they were last year. So I do think in a way this helps the Wizards because, I guess like John Wall was gonna come back healthy, so we can't necessarily say that they weren't gonna make the playoffs if John Wall was there. But now we know for sure they have someone who's healthy, although Russ had surgeries lately. I mean, like, you know, last year had I think he had the arthroscopic, like the scrape out on his knee or something like that. I think. I have to double check that. He had something with his knee. It wasn't like major surgery, but you know what I mean. But I think overall Russ is fairly healthy. We can assume that he will be there for majority of the games at least. And, you know, listen, whether or not you like Russ or not, because he's a very polarizing player, you do not want to face him at the rim when he's going 95 miles per hour. Nobody wants to face that. Nobody wants to guard that. Like, that's not fun, because you're either going to get dunked on or you're just going to get out of the way, honestly. And he could pass. I mean, he averaged a triple-double for 3 seasons in a row, I believe. It was definitely 2. It might have been 3. I think it was 3. But you don't just do that by not being able to pass. He can definitely pass. He can definitely get other players open shots. Bradley Beal, that might be a nice tandem. You know, we have to see how that plays out. Like I said, it wouldn't be my first choice just because I think Russ' style of play doesn't exactly fit alongside Bradley Beal, but if they may see something or they may know something that I don't know, and they may have, you know, discussed how they're gonna play already, and that's why they made the trade. So I could see it working out as well. That's why I'm saying, like, this trade is so hard to be like, this is the winner, this is the loser, because there's so many what ifs in this trade. If anything, it's a wash. You know, like, no team became the best team in all of NBA history, you know, like nothing like that, but they definitely have made improvements in some areas. Like I said, I think the Wizards now with Russell Westbrook can make the playoffs next year. And again, John Wall might have been there, might have been healthy, and then might have made the playoffs, whatever. We're ignoring that. I think that Russell Westbrook will definitely make them exciting, definitely help them make the playoffs. So like I said, I kind of feel like this trade had to be done because according to reports, there wasn't a big trade market for Russell Westbrook, and the Rockets clearly wanted to move him, and this was kind of a comparable trade that they could pull off, and they got a first-round pick out of it, and John Wall, who could, you know, like I said, be something special for them. So in a way, I feel like this trade kind of had to happen in a way. Like, there probably could have been other teams and other ways it could have done it, but it happened, it's here, and now we have a lot of new exciting things going on for this NBA season that we're gonna have to look out for. So that's my opinion on this blockbuster trade. I was very shocked when I saw it on my phone, as I'm sure you guys were too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for Vlogmas tomorrow and every day until the 22nd, my countdown to the NBA restart. Bye!